Hey guys, and welcome to another video. My name is Julie, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about the collective illusion, or the matrix, as it's also called, the Maya. It's called in Hinduism, I think, or amongst the yogis. The collective illusion is something that it's not just one, there are many. And you can say that it's very cultural. It's based on what kind of, you can say that there's different worlds in one world, right? And I'm talking about different worlds, different mental worlds, different perspectives on reality. And you can see that why are people so we really tend to identify with our worldview. We really tend to be really rigid about our beliefs about the world. So if you are, like, a typical example, like in politics, for example, I know it's different from the countries to countries, but it can be really polarized between left and right. And people can be really angry at each other, and they can't even understand how is it possible to see the world from that perspective. And the way I see it is that we cling on to these mental ideas about the world. Nobody really knows what this is, right? Because we're being born and we see the world through the five senses. Before we learn, like we create this mind, this mental idea about the world with ourself in it as the center point, right? I'm the main character of this movie, right? Everyone are in their own movie. And it's the world around, which is a world view, a perspective. And you learn this growing up. And even like science, psychologists say that the first 7 years of life, the mind is like in theta brain waves. So it absorbs information, and it like children can't really distinguish or think critically. It all just comes right in. So if you tell a child that this is the world and this is how it is, it will believe you because you have authority, and they will trust that what you say is real. So they don't have that critical thinking, and their mind view is being shaped. And this is all of us when we grow up. And we learn to see this world in a certain way, and everything we see will be filtered through that perspective, either we want it or not, right? And this also happens either you are religious or not, either you are what sides of politics you're on, whether you're spiritual or not too, right? So we can tap into these different matrices of the world. When you go to different culture, if we go to a new company or a new university and study there, and we see that there's like a bubble where people tap into, and this is the thing here. This is what we say, this is the humor, this is the social rules, and this is how we see the world in this culture. So, and most of us, we are really affected by the kind of environment we're in. And the kind of environment, I mean, the kind of matrix we're in, and the people we surround us with. And we find identity in that matrix, for good and for bad. Like even the ones that are waking up, becoming more conscious, and realizing a lot of the manipulation that's been going on, right? Like in the healthcare system, in the economic system, in the political system, and we start to question these things, right? And we form a world view. It's another view, right? So what awakening is about, at least in my experience, is to see reality for what it really is, and see the difference between thoughts, including collective thoughts, and what's actually going on. It can be really depressing to, I would say, wake up and realize a lot of the suffering in this world, right? And realize how unfree we are, or at least how we feel, right? In this reality. It's a very, I dare to say that it's an uncomfortable reality. It's a lot of duality, and we feel both pleasure and pain, right? There's a lot of pain in this world, and we can feel that when we become conscious. So it can be very painful to live in these matrices. And what I noticed was that no matter what matrix I tap into, there's something fundamentally artificial about it. And I realized that it was the fact that I was still in the mind. I was still believing a narrative. I was still clinging on to a perspective about the world is. And I'm not saying that there's something wrong about it. And there are certain perspective and matrices that it feels more in resonance with me that I choose to tap into. But you can play around in many, and you can explore different cultures, different communities, different people, and see what feels right for you. There's no right or wrong here. It's just what feels aligned for you. And what we might notice, because the mind is sort of like, the collective mind is now being reflected on this thing called the internet, where people are sharing their thoughts online, and we see this sort of clash, all these different opponents, all these different views that people believe to be absolute truth, absolute reality, and everyone are just so certain in their own perspective, which is really interesting when we have something like the internet, where all of these meet worldwide. They will be visible for everyone to see, right? And it's so interesting how different they all are. And if we can learn to see the matrix for what it is, the matrices, because there are many. And I will say that when we wake up, we tend to wake up from our own matrix, the one that we were a part of, which is like, I would say, one main worldview that we have, and that we share with some people. It's the things you share with all the people in your life or in your country, and other things you will only share with certain people in your life. But it's all in the mind. It's all about a story about how the world is. And it's not absolute reality, because in absolute reality, they're all simultaneously true or untrue. It's a paradox, because they're real because they're being experienced as real for one being, for one soul or whatever. As long as you believe one reality to be real, it's real for you. And there's no one else above you to say if it's real or not. But waking up is realizing, and the more we wake up, the more we will let go of these mental stories about ourselves and the world. And it's a process for most people. It's a gradual process, which takes us out of time, out of identity, and out of all perspectives, and into a sort of more like a curious presence where all realities can be true, and we're open to all perspectives, because we're seeing them for what they are: stories and mental ideas. And then like a blanket, that like a filter, like something that covers our eyes and keeps us with a pair of glasses, and we see the world through those glasses, right? I don't know how to use the right analogies. I tried to use several ones, but I hope it made sense. The key here is to realize and discover what beliefs do we hold about the world and reality. What beliefs do we cling on to that keeps us in unpeace? Like what keeps us in unease, right? Because as long as we believe reality to be a certain way, I believe that will cause suffering, because it will be challenged, especially in the times we're living in now. And if you're watching my channel, and you are most likely in a process of awakening, and your beliefs will be challenged. And if you don't look at them, the universe will show them to you in some way. And you can trust the process. That's what I had for today. And yeah, you can always watch my free masterclass if this video resonates with you. And until next time, much love and namaste.